Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I'm Spencer Israel. I got Joel here. I got Dennis here. And we got a market in the green. We'll talk about that. Why is the market up? What do you do now? These are questions. You have them. We have answers. Well, I don't know if we have answers. We'll try our best. We're going to talk about earnings today. Obviously, we had Chipotle last night. We had Enphase ripping this morning. We had CVS. We had Lyft. We have Disney tonight. Uber tonight. Twilio tonight. We're going to talk about the reopening stocks. I'm sure Peloton will come up because how could it not? And Ivan Feinseth is our guest. He is from Tigress Financial Partners. He's their CIO. He'll be on at 8:35. So, what's up, everyone? Chat. What's up, Happy? What's up, Gene, Duncan, Dave, Dylan, Matt, Christian? Bill is the first one here every morning. What's up, Bill? Hit that like button and let's get this show started.
This is Pre-Market Prep with Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick, and Spencer Israel.
All right, Joel, the most important question of the day.
Yes.
How was EJ, our friend EJ last night?
EJ, according to Triple D.
Yeah.
I don't know how to rank concerts anymore because I've seen so many, but I'll put it in the top 10, maybe the top 5. I mean, his voice is incredible. His voice is holding up very well, a lot better than his body. But I'm still standing. Saturday night's all right. Benny and the Jets, Rocket Man, Crocodile Rock. What else did he play? Someone Saved My Life Tonight. I mean, he jammed, and then he ended it with Yellow Brick Road, and he asked me and my sister to come on stage and hum in the background.
Wow, that's
And
exciting.
you know what? We left the house at 6:45. The concert started a little after 8. We were back home to catch the end of the Michigan-Penn State basketball game where they pulled out a victory. So I could not ask for any better a night. But folks don't want to hear that. They want to hear about the Spoos up 40 handles, 45, 52, 50. I'm just going to tell you, before the market got Facebooked, the high close of the rebound, 77.25. That's not too far away.
Wait, Joel, can you stop your screen share and start it again? Because there's like a glitch in the matrix here where I'm.
Yeah,
I'm
because
trying.
me and Spencer are good, but you are blurry and your voice is coming through choppy.
Internet connection's a little bit choppy today, but we're gonna.
Well, yeah, because I'm good and Spencer's good, so we're assuming that means
I look
it's you.
fantastic. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, not
Let
to
me try
us
a
though.
screen share again.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, just try it again here. There's some sort of glitchiness going on. Let's see if we can get the charts up on the screen. If not, I'll go through my own. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're good.
Okay, as I was saying before I was interrupted.
Yeah.
77.25 high of the move. 86 has been the high of the rebound. Crude down 37 cents at 88.98. No major support until you get down under 86. Gold being gold up 440, 1832.30. Silver in the green by 11 cents at 23.315. Bitcoin, let's call it flat at 44,250. Bitcoin or Ethereum's up $62 at $31.95. So that's what to take a look at the futures. Triple D, any action last night? It seems like kind of there was some earnings.
It was quiet, and you know what it is? It's the Olympics too. You really are seeing the last 2 days, like because I trade all night, every night, pretty much, and it was quiet. We did obviously have an overnight rally after 8 o'clock, but up till 8 o'clock. The trade was really quiet, and I do think it's the Olympics. I think there's traders that are watching that, and there's not as much action happening. So
really,
yeah, I do.
Olympic indicator.
Well, one thing is there's no CNBC either, right? So CNBC ends at 5 o'clock. So they don't have fast money. They don't have Kramer, and those are retail moving shows, meaning that retail traders watch those shows and they move stocks. So you don't have that moving it, but you can just see it's just like quiet. Like just suddenly, and yesterday was not a quiet day, but I think it's a little bit to do with the Olympics being on right now.
This dude, you don't miss nothing.
I miss lots of things. I don't know if that's right or not, but
No,
it's my theory as to why the last 2 days have been very quiet. I can tell by my P&L because it's not making as much the last couple days as it normally does. Although the swing trading P&L picked up yesterday. I'm not going to talk about the specific positions because some of them I'm already up 7, 8, 10%, and I may actually trade out of them. But I'll just say I did go some risk on yesterday. I put about, let me look how many swings I put on. I put on, going into the swing trading account, 1, 2, these are all logs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 swing trades I put on long yesterday. So I have been 0 swing trades for a while, just focusing on the day trading for the most part because the long swings haven't been working at all.
It's choppy.
It's been really choppy. The day trading does well on the chop, but the swings do not because I use stops on the swings and they get chopped out of everything. So we'll see. We're going to see how these materialize. It's a lot of growthy names. It's having a good morning, obviously. I put them on. Actually, I was up in almost all those positions before the close yesterday. Yeah, around 1 o'clock, and I actually got down with them for a bit because we had that little sell off from 1 to 2. But then the close when on the Qs when we went from 356 to 360, that put me up in almost all those positions. Now you have again the tack on moves. So a lot of growthy names, a lot of Kathy type names. These are just swings, not long-term investments. But that's where I was putting a little bit of risk on because you guys, and my catalyst for doing that was Peloton. Because when you have a stock that reports a dumpster fire quarter, really, and that's what it was, and they turn around and rip it higher on that, that's telling me that that could spread, and it did spread into other stocks yesterday. Now, how long does it spread for? I'd keep Peloton as an indicator. Peloton has went red today, so that's not great news for all those social media darlings there, but it's not necessarily bad news either because Peloton had such a wicked rally. You get a 2 or 3
could
point
just hang in here for a day or two.
It was a crazy move in Peloton. So very, very impressive. Yes, Twitter, I know everybody reached out to me, tell me how wrong I was with my call to sell the Amazon pop on Friday night at $35. And yes, it is 37. It does appear to be a bad call, even though it went down to 26 afterwards.
Yeah.
It's what have you done for me lately? And, yes, I wish, I could be right all the time. I wish I could be right 100% of the time. But in this market, you don't have to be right 100% of the time. You don't even have to be right 50% of the time if you have your winners bigger than your losers. But in any regard here, it was an impressive move for Peloton.
I think Twitter cost you money.
Actually, I think it makes me money because I don't think I would have realized Peloton was up as much because it's not a stock I'm actively looking at all the time. But everybody was making sure that they mentioned it to me in my Twitter feed every about 2 minutes. I was getting somebody reaching out to tell me how much of an idiot that I am for saying to sell Peloton on Friday night. So then I was like, well, let's think about this. If Peloton is going to roar on a dumpster fire quarter, well, let's go look at these other beaten down growthy names and let's just start a little portfolio of those and see what happens. And so far, so good. So I actually think that they're making me money.
Well,
I wouldn't be long any of these stocks if it wasn't for Twitter.
I know, but when we talked yesterday or the day before, and Twitter Peloton had come in, right, and it was trading down to pre-market, you were kind of like, you were kind of looking at it in the 20s. You were looking at it, but you're like,
I thought about it.
Yeah, you thought about it, and you're like, well, then whatever. We're not going to go in that. Spencer, take over. Let's cover some stocks. I don't give levels on Peloton, so let's move on.
He only gives sweat on Peloton. Let's go to Chipotle.
I might hit that today. I haven't been on it. I can now that it's had a good update.
Joel, what is going on? You guys see this, Joel? Joel, your internet is choppy as heck today, Joel. I don't know.
Really? Your internet's no good, Joel.
It was not this way a half hour ago. But for whatever reason,
who's your internet provider?
Comcast.
You have a backup internet provider?
Comcast.
We're all in on Comcast. Well, there's one of you.
How come I look okay? I look okay, and
no, you're gonna look okay to yourself because it's streaming up. I mean, so your video camera is not even. It's connected to your computer, to your PC.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just
So
there's not, I don't know what you can do about it right now. Unfortunately, it's just
we're in the middle of the show. It's livable. It's kind of like CNBC today because CNBC every caller they get always looks like this on CNBC. The choppy audio. It's literally like how good a job we do it on Benzinga, where we rarely have that. But you watch CNBC for more than 2 hours, and you're guaranteed to have at least 2 people coming with this type of
that's
call.
what happens when you have 10 guests every hour. But
maybe
Joel,
that's what it is.
Joel, I know what the problem might be.
Joel, if you want to leave,
Joel's tech.
If you want to leave and come back, that might do it. But frankly, it's livable. But let's go to not Peloton. Let's go to Chipotle here. Man, I was wrong on this one too because I said yesterday, and I've said this before, that I just am afraid of all the restaurant stocks right now. So many unknowns. But Chipotle came out and they blew it away last night. Their earnings per share $5.58 versus a $5.25 estimate. Their revenue $1.96 billion. That came in line. Their comparable sales. If you don't know what comparable sales are, or comps as it's also known, those are sales at all locations that have been open for at least 1 year. So they're basically taking all their sales at other locations, excluding new locations, and say, hey, how were they this quarter compared to the same quarter a year ago? Comps up 15.2% year over year versus a 14.8% estimate. So they beat the comps estimate. They beat the earnings estimate. They raised their prices because apparently they're Chipotle and they have tremendous pricing power, which I guess makes sense because everyone loves Chipotle. And the stock is ripping. So go figure.
And they're a growthy name. Growth is back in favor, at least for a day. So growthy name, retail love name, kind of fits the whole description of kind of stock that I'd like to own. I don't own this one, so I can freely talk about it. But a stock I would have liked to have owned yesterday. Now, I'm not going to hold a stock into a report on a swing trade, so that's why I didn't touch this one. But it kind of makes sense. Even they reported a good quarter, and those stocks are back in favor, at least for a day.
Yeah.
We snuck over 1580 and just a quiet leak here, so we'll just keep an eye on the pre-market high first of all. I mean, because we did back off $20 from 1585, but I just look at the right chart here, and the 50% probably the 50%'s at 1600 from this 1900. To me, I just look at this thing and like, okay, well, if it gets to 1585, maybe it'll test 1600. That's it. That's it's already up 100 sticks. If it doesn't take out that pre-market high first couple brackets, then maybe you get a little bit of a pullback. But hard stock to trade. They should split it, but they won't. And up $100. That's a lot of burritos.
No, never say never, but yeah, I thought they should split the stock for a long time now. I don't know why they don't, frankly. I don't know why Chipotle and what's the other one? Domino's, for whatever reason, are just like super growthy stock. I guess it's because of the businesses. But anyway, Chipotle really has no sympathy plays because it's sort of a beast unto itself. But
kind of.
Yeah. Good report.
I would argue that same thing. I don't trade anything with that. So,
I mean, they said they're paying their employees more. They're paying more for food, but they can keep raising prices. So that's what they're.
Well, their prices are so low to begin with, so it helps. I mean, you're not very very sticky, and where gone are the days where we have to eat lunch for under $10. I mean, that was there for a long time, but I think that's gone now. Where if you're pulling out less than a 20, you're happy. It seems like now. So I mean, you just don't eat for $10 anymore.
Yeah. Wait. So what they say? They said that they raised their prices 4% in December. Menu prices up around 10% year over year, and they probably will raise them again. In the grand scheme of things, it's not so bad. I feel like 10% for a burrito, whatever.
I mean, it's the kind of market not to chase in. There's room in this. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's lots of room up to 1600, even 1700, but I'm not going to chase saying it's going there today. It's still the type of market. I think we were saying in the pre-market show, it's going to be a lot of chop. And you were saying it, Spencer, the chop continues. You're going to see more chop. Just because we go up, doesn't mean we're going to go up the next day, the next day, the next day. It's a choppy market. So I still think you're taking the money and run. When you make 10, 15% in something, you're probably taking the money and run. That's probably the call.
All right, let's move on here. What about Lyft? Let's look at that report real fast.
Chop. This sums up this market, because off of this earnings report, give the numbers. This is one of the choppiest charts you'll ever see.
Lyft report. Sales beat. What did their EPS do? I have to go to a different screen here to get that. Lyft EPS came in. I don't see that. That's bizarre. Okay, sorry about that.
Can you show the charts, Joel? Or are you capable
Yeah,
of doing that?
yeah.
Or is
Well,
it gonna...
I keep
How are my charts look?
I keep going back to my charts because Joel's charts, for whatever reason, they're not showing up.
Joel's internet's not working.
Like they're there, but they're not there. I see them, but no one else.
Should I reboot?
Yeah, you know what? You're
try
really
it. blurry.
You want to try? Go for 2 minutes. Try to reboot. I think it's your
my
internet
internet.
connection, though. I think you should reboot your modem.
Oh boy.
Do you know how to do that? I would reboot my modem.
Yes,
he shakes his head at me.
Yes,
He's like, "What the hell do you think, Daddy? You pull the plug and you plug it back in."
Everyone knows how to reboot their modem. Anyway, Lyft, the revenue.
Me and Joel aren't tech savvy though.
The revenue beat. There he's rebooting.
Show the charts.
Sorry. Well, I'm reading from my Pro right now, so I'm looking at the newsfeed here. The revenue beat. Active riders up 49% year over year. I don't know how you can really compare year over year because we're talking about 2021 to 2020, and it's not really a fair comparison. But let's go to the chart here. LYFT. Pull it up on the Benzinga Pro. Oh, yeah.
This chart was the definition of chop, man, off the report. Oh, your charts are ugly too here. Let's get closer.
What's wrong with mine?
Dig in close. It's too far out. That's what it is. I can't see anything.
Yeah, this is a one. That one's not good. All right, 15-minute chart. This is not good.
Okay. There's just you should change the background or something. I don't know. The lines going. Anyway.
Well, the lines tell me when it's the pre-market.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is
so I don't know if we could dig into that a little bit closer, and it's really hard to tell. But I just remember the pricing action because I was watching it. They lifted the stock, pun fully intended. Thank you. I'm here all day. Actually, I'm here for the next 30 minutes.
Here, Dennis, how's that? Is that better for you?
Yeah. So in that first candle, you just see the line with the red candle, and you see the little stick on the top and the stick on the bottom. But in that first candle, we ran up. They lifted it up to almost $43. Then they tanked it all the way down to $38. Then they brought it back and rallied it green again. This is all the first 2 minutes. And then they started to leak it. So, I mean, it went up, it went down, it went back up, and then they started to leak it. That was the trading action that I recall anyways. I'm recalling it correctly. And then, we kind of are just settling in here now. So market very choppy on this report too. This is what we've been seeing on pretty much all these reports, except even Chipotle went down initially on its report. So it seems like the initial move on these reports is usually a fake out. And that's what this was in the case of Lyft too, as it ran up to over almost $43, and then they pulled the rug out from under it. So yeah, interesting.
So it seems like by and large, it wasn't an amazing quarter. They're still coming out of they're still dealing with COVID effects. They did say that there is one sign that the supply of drivers has gotten better. They said that the estimated arrival time for rides has dropped 30% in the last 2 quarters. So I guess that just means more drivers on, or I guess it could mean fewer. It could also mean fewer people using Lyft now that I think about it. But anyway, I mentioned the active riders, which was at 18.7 million, which was up 49% year over year, but down below the 20 million active rider estimate. So I don't know. This is an okay report. We have Uber tonight. We'll see what they say.
Yeah, and usually if you're the second report and the first one doesn't do great, usually the second one has a lower bar. I would say if Lyft was down today or ends up being down significantly today and Uber pulls back, that would set up well. But now that they've kind of rallied and Uber isn't even down, I don't know if that trade's going to be there. So I was kind of excited when I saw Lyft down 4 or 5%. I was like, oh, this could be the setup for Uber to have a low bar and actually, get up and going. But we're not totally seeing that trading action here now, so I'm not sure that setup still exists.
Yeah. What about CVS here? Let me pull up that chart again. This is the 15-minute overnight chart. Their earnings were this morning about 2 hours ago now.
Yeah.
Earnings per share beat $1.98 versus $1.83. Sales also beat 76.6 for $75.5 billion. They gave guidance for the year. Their EPS guidance was in line. There's nothing wrong with that number. They guided a range of $8.10 to $8.30. estimate was at 828, so I guess it was a little bit light. The estimate was at the high end of the range they gave, but it's okay though. I mean, it wasn't bad guidance.
Yeah. Multiple problems here for CVS though that are nothing to do with the company. One, it was running up into the quarter, so everybody expected at a high bar. And this is just as stupid as this market is. It's all that matters. It doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter as much as the bar. So, and if you're trading earnings reports, I trade earnings reports. This is important information. What's the bar? Is the stock running up into it? Is it a high bar, a low bar? Second thing is, what kind of day are we having today? What is the day today? I'll ask, we'll ask the chat. What kind of day is the day when the S&Ps are up for 40 handles and the Qs are trading higher? What kind of day is it today?
Everything. I thought everything was higher, but it's a risk on day.
It's a risk on day. CVS is a risk off stock, meaning that it does better actually when the market is going down. It actually, in a lot of cases, has a negative beta with the overall market. So it moves in the opposite direction. They often do. So you've got CVS reporting. If it would actually been a down day, it'd probably be better for CVS, which is absurd to think about, but that's the way this market works. So at least this market that we're currently in. So CVS is more defensive. It's not a risk on stock, which doesn't work in its favor either. Joel, you're back and you look good.
Joel's looking good.
This worked. The modem.
Hey, Dennis, can I ask you one question?
He's mad at I couldn't reset the modem.
So when in the Bright office, when we did the conversion to decimals, okay,
yes,
who did all the work on the computers and the server to be able? I think I stayed up till like 2, 3 in the morning a couple times working on that server. Who did that?
Not Dennis.
Not Dennis. No, Dennis
You're the office manager. You had to do it.
Comes in at 9:29 and 29 seconds, smelling like a brewery.
I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
Speaking of brewery, I have a brewery shirt on right now.
Anyway, I'm bringing my charts back up.
I'm sorry, I'll cut you some slack there. Good job, Joel. You fixed yourself. And that's all we needed. Joel is fixed.
Yeah, I'm bringing up my trade station. It'll be out in a second. What do you guys?
If that shuts it down, we'll blame trade station. If Joel gets blurry after
that. Yeah, someone in the chat mentioned Enphase. I want to go there next because that's your ripper of the morning. ENPH. I still remember the short report that came out on this stock. Was it a year ago?
Worst.
That was a miss.
Worst call ever.
That was a miss. Anyway, Enphase reported earnings here yesterday after the close. It was a beat, and their guidance was strong. I guess it was record revenue for them.
Yeah.
The CFO is also retiring for whatever that's worth. But let's pull up a chart. Look at this Enphase. Look at this. Let's go to a daily.
It's a big move here. Yeah, and it's been a big move. This is all the growthy stocks look. This is, they're all oversold, all massively oversold, and they've stopped going down, at least in the short term, which is why I kind of went a little bit risk on in some of these names, not Enphase. But it feels like they're all oversold, and it feels like some of them, especially after the Peloton incident, it feels like some of them have some, lift to them. So not lift. ENPH up $25 here, $31 here now. Yeah. Sorry, on this report, 22%. This is a rip roaring rally. I do not chase 22% moves ever, no matter if it's a risk on day, risk off day, it's Canada day. It doesn't matter what kind of day it is. On any single day, I'm not buying a stock up 22% because even in the rip roaring bull markets, you lose a lot of money chasing that big of a move. So, with that being said, would I buy Enphase on a pullback? Maybe. If it was to pull back. If it rips to 180, 190, it's going to go without me. The real resistance on this is probably up around the 190 area. But, I mean, that's still $15 away from here. So maybe there's still some room. But, man, 22% off an earnings report, that's a pretty good day right there.
Yeah, I'm just pulling. Wow, you're right. It made the low and then it started to come off. Before I go to the pre-market, where we traded 176.5. Before I even throw the pre-market action in here, folks, look at the upper right chart.
Wait, share. You didn't share.
No, I gotta share it now. Hopefully it comes out.
While you do that, the short report that I'm referring to, I think was it was Preston's Point. It was June of 2020. Is when that came. So I'll show you on my chart. It was where's that? It was right there. Oh wait, right there. Right there. That big volume spike. Right where my mouse is. June when this thing was at $46. Short report came out. We're at 176 right now. Anyway, here are Joel's charts, looking beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, I got another great idea for Benzinga.
Oh my gosh, you got another great idea.
Oh man.
Why don't you guys start keeping like tabs on all these different short reports? Like everyone, like where the stock was, where it went to that day. And then, so when you pull it up, you just have your little Google Doc there and you can say, instead of having to search through Pro. What do you think about that idea?
Well, that's also what Pro does. I could easily find the short report in Pro by searching for Enphase.
Okay.
And searching.
But you don't have the price, you don't have what happened, you don't have any historical reference.
No,
you have a little.
Yeah.
I'll help you with it, Spencer.
Okay.
This 190 area, I know we haven't gotten up there yet. I'm just looking at all these tops at 190. If you're looking for more on the move, you're still bid at the pre-market. It looks like you're bid up here at the pre-market high. So that's what I would keep an eye on. Longer term, like if you're super bullish this thing and the bottom is in and we're going to get a nice all retracement out of this. What was your high? Let me move this out of here. While I'm doing that, Spencer, you can bring up the next stock.
As far as the earnings, that was there was a bunch more, but nothing super interesting. I wanted to look ahead to tonight real quick because it's going to be a big one. We got Disney tonight.
Yep.
We got Uber. I already mentioned this tonight. Let's bring up the graphic on the screen here. So we've got Disney, we got Uber, we got MGM, we got Twilio. Those are the headliners tonight. So
what do you think about Disney? Some of the reopening trades have been doing a little bit better. I mean, this is off the 130 low, but it's.
I'm still long it. I don't think just 1 second. We got an intruder here. Go give your analysis.
Intruder alert.
No, I'm just thinking that it just over 145 it gets real interesting. Got a couple tops under 145, so I'm looking at that. Elton John did not play Circle of Life last night for any of you interested. That's from the theme song from The Lion King.
That's the best one.
Yeah, he did that too. But yeah, I don't know. Over 145, it gets interesting. And then if you're looking for more, then you got a quad top here too.
So there's some good levels. It's tough to call Disney from here. I'm long the half size position in Disney. I want to add the full size. I actually want it to miss. I want it to miss so I can buy the stock because I think there is going to be a good reopening trade. I know the Disney Plus, but a lot of that premium has been sucked out of it here. I mean, it was $125, before COVID started without Disney Plus. So you've sucked out a lot of the Disney Plus juice, which is deserved because Disney Plus has not done well enough to compete with Netflix. So it didn't deserve that type of premium. It deserves something though. I think you get back down to 130 area. I think I'll add to the loser. I don't normally add to losers, but in the long-term portfolio, never found average down.
No action item for me here. I'm not buying, I'm not selling, but I'm not feeling super confident about the short-term future of this stock right now. We'll see what tonight brings.
I don't know. I'm indifferent. I've got her in the long-term account though, so I don't have to worry about the short-term. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
This has gone nowhere. I mean, there had a period where this went nowhere for years and years and years and years, and then the pandemic got it going, and then so it could just be blah too, right?
It had one of those periods, Joel, too, where it didn't go for years. I remember back in like the early 2000s. Do you remember this on Disney? I don't know if you can go that far
that's
back. But there was a period where it was like for years and years and years didn't move there either. It goes into these lulls, Disney. Even look at that 2016 to 20. Yeah, really since 2016, we really haven't gone very far. But if you could go back even further than that chart, it goes in these lulls and then eventually starts to pick up again. The one reason I like Disney long term is I think it's going to be a big metaverse play. I think it's going to be one of the metaverse plays because I get the metaverse for Disney. I totally get it. I do think they're gonna, continue to get better content Disney Plus. I do think they're gonna be skipping the movie theater sometimes to go straight to Disney Plus with movies. Then they're gonna be able to, buy these movies on your Disney Plus, which is another source of revenue too. And I think the parks are going to reopen. I think the parks are going to have a big reopening trade. So at a certain point in time here, I do think you're going to want to be long Disney.
I agree.
I don't know if it's into this report. Maybe the washout and then you buy the weakness.
All right, we're gonna have Ivan Feinseth join us in 5 minutes. I wanted to talk about Apple and Square, or I'm sorry, Block together here. Apple has been working on their own sort of payment solution here, and this is a report from the WSJ out last night that they're gonna offer. Apple has a new feature. They're basically gonna let businesses and consumers pay for things. Just all you have to do is move your iPhone and bring it near the merchant's iPhone, and it's going to accept Apple Pay that way. So there's going to be no terminal or anything like that. So if you've ever used a Square payments terminal, this is going to be like that, but built into the iPhone. And so they're going after Block, they're going after PayPal, with this idea, and they've partnered. For the launch of this processor type thing, they have included Shopify's point of sale apps. So Shopify is sort of built into this technology. So it's good for Shopify, not so good for Block and PayPal. Not that they need the assistance going down right now.
Shopify is trading up $32 here. Square is trading up too, so obviously not that concerned about it. Full disclosure, yes, I still own my Square. Yes, I still own Apple. I do not own PayPal. It is a reason. Apple Pay was always concerning me for PayPal years ago. This was before Square was really relevant. I always thought that Apple was eventually going to be coming for PayPal. And that's a reason I sold PayPal. And I sold it obviously way too soon. So in hindsight, that was, a big mistake. Yeah. So I don't know. They've talked about Apple Pay for years being a difference maker. And, here we are probably 5 years after we first started, hearing that, they were going to really start putting a lot of money in Apple Pay. And it's never materialized. Maybe it does eventually. I never liked fighting Apple, so it's not great news for Square or for PayPal. But I don't think I'm that scared of it either as a Square shareholder.
Yeah, well, we just covered what go to Square, I guess. All the stocks would be
Square.
I mean, it's up $4, so Mr. Market's helping it out.
Well, it doesn't care about the headline, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It would be trading down.
Man, just let's get. You got support. That's what I'll say. I mean, this 100, we might be looking at this $100 area in Square and. Saying, wow, how did we not buy this 100
well, I did.
105?
I am. I might be wrong. It scares me that it's been down here for so long. It bounced out of the bounced out of there quickly 2 weeks ago. Now it's like, it's just hanging out down here too long. So that's what makes me a bit nervous here. Yes, I'm still long it. I put it in the long-term account, and I don't like to just get shaken out, just because
right away. Yeah.
Well, in the long-term account, I usually am more fundamental. It's like a thesis has changed. Could Apple Pay change my mind on Square? It could. I already had that happen to me on PayPal though, and it was the wrong call. So maybe it's gonna be the wrong call not to be scared of Apple Pay now. But I'm still, I'm still sticking with Square here. It's almost where I bought it, so I could almost get out and just move along. But I don't know. I don't want to be looking back at this and saying the same thing you just said. It's like, man, Square came from 270 to 100. Still, a hell of a lot of growth. Not cheap by any means, but a hell of a lot of growth still there. Dorsey's pretty smart. I don't know. Sticking with it. Is he going to eventually, he's kind of moved away from Twitter, Dorsey? Here's a question for Spencer.
Yeah, what?
Is he going to eventually be moving away from running Block too?
Well, I think the impetus for leaving Twitter was so he could devote all his time to Block. I do have a friend that works at Twitter, and we were talking a few months ago, and he said that and this has been actually widely reported as well. Twitter for a long time, Twitter has, when you stack up Twitter and Square, Twitter was the larger company, but they always felt like the little brother because Jack Dorsey spent more time paying attention to Square, right? That's where his attention was, and so Twitter was like the more mature business and the larger company, but they got less of Jack's attention, so there was this weird inferiority complex going on there. But I think one of the reasons he left Twitter was to focus on Square. That's just from what I read. So obviously I don't have any firsthand knowledge of that. But
we give so much credit to Jobs and to so many CEOs and innovators. And I feel like Dorsey doesn't get enough credit. I mean, he has created 2 monster companies. That person is smart. And, you know, and you're looking and you want to make a bet here on the future. And you're like, can Square be, you know, one of the main players in payments? I think if Dorsey stays behind it, I would be nervous if Dorsey left. That would be a reason for me to sell the stock.
While we're on the topic of Jack Dorsey, Twitter reports earnings tomorrow, and Cathie Wood is running, not walking, running for the exit. That's Polish. She sold 4 million shares. Actually, I didn't look last night, but as of yesterday afternoon, she had been selling pretty consistently for the past days and weeks. I think I saw $142 million worth of Twitter shares that ARK Invest sold. I'm sure it's more now. So Cathie wants out of Twitter.
She doesn't want to get Facebooked.
No, I don't think that. Yeah,
that's what she's worried about, and that's a verb now. I just made it today. She doesn't want to get Facebooked. Meaning obviously that we know there's been a lot of attacking of social media platforms by probably TikTok at the most, but the competition is intense in social media.
Yep.
And Facebook obviously is feeling that, and I think it's got people nervous. When does Twitter report? Thursday?
Tomorrow. No, tomorrow. What?
Tomorrow.
It's today.
I'd be nervous holding into the report too. I have no position in Twitter. I think I would be nervous holding into this report for the simple reason is that you also have Snap that just, you know, you had the low bar Facebook set and then Snap got over that low bar. Well, now Snap has brought the bar back up for Twitter, unfortunately. And just as much as we saw when the mega caps reported, you know, there was a, you know, Apple beat, a Microsoft beat, or there was like a Microsoft beat, a Netflix miss, an Apple beat, a Facebook
Remember
miss,
we were talking about
an Amazon beat. And this is what we do. This is what I do at Bright Trading is I look for patterns, you know, and you try to identify the patterns. And, you know, maybe this is just, you know, extrapolating too much, but it's bar set high, bar set low, bar set high, bar set low. So you had Facebook, boom, brought the bar down for Pinterest and Snap, and they easily got over that low bar. Have they brought the bar up now, though, for Twitter? That's my concern. And I don't think Twitter is going to be a great quarter. So it's concerning to me. I'd actually be concerned holding Twitter in the report. I think I'm with Kat.
All right. Let's bring on our guest here, Ivan Feinseth, the CIO at Tigress Financial Partners. Whenever we get too bearish or concerned, it's always good to bring Ivan on.
Yes, it is.
He is nothing if not consistently bullish.
He's a bull.
He is a bull. Ivan, what's up, man?
How are you? And I got a big one for you.
Still bullish?
I am still bullish, and I got a big opportunity.
What do you have? What do you have?
You have a name for us?
Well, everybody's going crazy about the potential acquisition of Peloton. Okay. I'm going to give you an under-the-radar name that's got a lot going on in home fitness.
Is it Garmin?
Nautilus.
You go. See Nautilus, NLS.
All right.
And you know, I gave this argument too. Like Peloton. Not that I'm bullish Nautilus, but I was comparing. It's funny. I was comparing Nautilus valuation to Peloton. I mean, Nautilus is sitting there worth what, 120 million or 150 million?
Right now, it's the market cap's 170 million dollars.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of debt, some cash, and great brand name. And they have a fitness app called the Journey app that's very robust. It's a $40 a month subscription. They have a very broad product line of connected exercise equipment. They got connected bikes, including this VeloCore bike, which rocks back and forth. They got connected treadmills, connected steppers. They got computer-controlled weight machines, plus variable weight dumbbells and barbells. They got an incredible product line. You can go to their website, look at their product line. You can look at their app, Journey, JRNY. And this can be bought for next to nothing. You could probably buy the company for under $1 billion, where you'd probably have to pay $20+ billion for Peloton. Now, Peloton's got incredible brand name, an incredible brand equity. But if you talk about Nike, Apple, or Amazon buying this, they have a great brand name that they can help build brand value into Nautilus, which also does have a tremendous brand name in their lines of Nautilus, Bowflex, and they make Schwinn exercise bikes.
So you think Nautilus could be more of a target than Peloton?
If I were at Nike, Amazon, Apple looking at this, and they all are, because the in-home fitness market, and I think the convergence of in-home and in-gym is really the play, with an app that can carry both your exercise at home, automatically log you into an exercise piece of equipment at the gym, and yes, tie together with a fitness monitor like Garmin. That's the fitness play. But these other three companies, they have brand equity that they can lend to making Nautilus an even bigger household name.
But who though? Who, Ivan? Who would buy Nautilus?
Well, I think Nike should. That's probably one of the best synergistic fits. But there's been talk about Amazon getting into in-home fitness. Hey, Amazon could just change the Journey app to Amazon Prime Fitness, an extension of their Prime membership for an incremental fee. And Apple does have Apple Fitness Plus, but that's a pretty well-defined a phone-based app, if you will. But I think that there's, unfortunately, Nautilus has not performed as well as it should have in the in-home fitness environment. They did see a huge spike in sales during this lockdown exercise at home trend. But I mean, there's a lot of value in this little name.
I mean, I could just see now from 30 a year ago. Yeah, basically exactly a year ago it was $30. Now it's $5. So,
I mean, I think it's worth a shot. Again, they got the app subscription is a few 100,000. It's not the few million that the 2.7 million that Peloton has. But again, there's an opportunity for growth here, and the money that you would not have to use to pay up for Peloton, you can put into developing the Nautilus application, marketing, and like I said, they have Peloton basically has a bike and a treadmill, 2 bikes, 2 treadmills, a fancy bike, a fancier bike, and a large and small treadmill. Nautilus has treadmills, steppers, bikes, a whole lot of equipment.
I love the click weights. I have the click weights. I like those.
Yes, the click weights are very popular.
Yeah.
Ivan, what do you think of the Q4 earnings season so far? And also, I know I can't remember what your position is on Facebook, but what are you looking at?
Strong buy on Facebook. Updating my report. I was shocked at the sell-off. I think this sell-off down to the 220 range is an incredible buy. We saw this pattern before in 2018 when they talked down growth, they talked up investments, the stock sold off from just over 200 to over 100, and then went to almost 400. They have the largest social media platform that they can continue to mine and develop. And yes, so at some point, new members will start to slow when you reach this 3 billion level, but there's a huge opportunity to continue to mine that through the metaverse and an even more important social commerce concept. And the fact that, yes, people are looking at maybe TikTok or other YouTube or other video platforms, they still also will come back to Facebook. And Instagram is still a powerful marketing platform. So I am not counting them out. They have gotten it right so far, and they will continue to do so. And if you look back at the history of the company, every significant sell-off, the biggest, most recent comparison would be 2018, was a major buying opportunity. So I think Facebook here at 220.
What about them doing an acquisition to augment this metaverse growth? Do you see that?
Absolutely.
They've done that before. They pulled that trick out of their hat before.
They acquired WhatsApp, major acquisition. In fact, they were criticized tremendously when they when they acquired WhatsApp and Instagram, and those turned out to be tremendous acquisitions. And Facebook was able, now Meta Platforms as the company, was able to really create significant value from those 2 acquisitions that they were criticized that they were overpaying for at the time, but now have created a lot of value with them.
All right, Ivan, give us a name that you're not super bullish on.
I tend to lean more bullish and look for opportunities that have potential. So it's hard off the top of my head. But I think a lot of the staple stocks, like it wasn't surprising to me that Clorox, it was surprising that it got hit as hard as it did. But
yeah,
I mean, when you start to put these huge growth multiples on companies that are not growing, I mean, great products, but
well, like what about a name like what about a name like IBM, which I think you have a whole.
Yes, okay, IBM, because there's just so much better opportunity in companies that just are doing it better and just have more growth. And I am shocked that IBM continues to struggle. They have some good concepts as far as that they've maximized the value well of their acquisition of Red Hat. But if you look at all these other cloud host service providers, these AI technology companies, there's just so much competition. And these competitors are getting it right more than IBM is. So, yeah, IBM has been a disappointment. And I also highlight as the fact that why I don't believe in index investing, because it makes you own poorly performing stocks.
Like Meta. Meta. I'm stuck owning Meta. I don't want to own Meta.
Well,
I'm stuck.
You should be happy, not stuck. You should be happy that it's here and you could add to it at a low price.
Oh, I'm thrilled, Ivan. You're going to be on the Disney call tonight because you covered Disney. So what are your expectations for that report?
I'm surprised that they've had a few bumps, but they had tremendous growth in their streaming platform, and it slowed a little bit. But I mean, look at the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, it's an incredible show, but I've never seen anything more debated or dissected by the fan base. But people are talking about it. Which, when people talk about something, it means more people will tune in to see it. But I still say that content is king, and Disney is the king of content. And it's not only about streaming, but it's theaters, and it's merchandising, and it's cruise ships, and it's theme parks. And they got so many growth engines that will resume in a post-pandemic world that, Disney is a must-own stock in the entertainment sector here at like 143 or 4 or 2, whatever. Where's that right now?
Ivan, I've argued for a while that I think Disney is a metaverse play too here, and
absolutely.
I want to get your thoughts there.
Absolutely, they're going to create metaverse immersive experiences from their content. Another interesting metaverse play to me is Warner Music. I mean, because music is going to be an integral part of the metaverse.
WMG.
Yep, WMG reported, I thought, an incredible quarter, a little bit weaker following the reported results, but they have an incredible catalog of music, and music. I mean, look, what would cycling be on a Peloton without music, or any kind of exercise without music? What would a movie be without music? And music is going to be a tremendously integral part of the immersive experience that the metaverse is attempting to address on the entertainment side.
Ivan, before we let you go, what about the elephant in the room, the Fed? It's not that the Fed's not going to derail. I mean, interest rates are going up 6, 7, 8, times this year, next 2 years. That's not going to spook the market.
It's going to help the market. What the Fed is saying is that the economy is strong enough to support higher rates. I mean, we are in an artificially low rate environment. I mean, at zero rates, that's not normal. That's what the Fed does to keep the economy from falling off a cliff. Put the economy on life support by taking rates down to zero and pumping hundreds of billions of dollars of liquidity. Now, Powell is saying the market is strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet. The inflation issue is strictly driven by the pandemic's break in supply chains, and I think that will continue to recover. It's also still shocking that the auto industry was so blindsided by a shortage of chips, but the chip production will increase. Look, Intel is investing. They announced a $20 billion investment in Ohio for a chip manufacturing complex.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can return to being we pretty much invented the microprocessor in Silicon Valley, and hopefully we can return to our leadership position with companies like Intel investing us massive amounts of money.
All right, Ivan Feinseth, we always appreciate your bullishness.
Thanks, Ivan.
Thanks for having me on. I always like being on with you guys. Great to see you.
PIO Tigress Financial Partners. Have a good rest of your day, Ivan. Thanks for coming on.
You too. Thank you.
All right, let's do some ticker time. We got 10 minutes left in the day. Drop your tickers for us in the chat, and we will answer as many. We'll discuss as many of them as we can here. I wanted to hit on a couple more quickly. I saw XPEV had some news. They're listing in Hong Kong. So XPEV is trading up dramatically this morning. Up to $39. Wow. So
why? Why? Because it's being double listed. Keep an eye on 40 if you're trading this, folks. Triple top at 40, then you get into the gap.
All right. Okay. What else we got?
I don't see how that makes the company more valuable, but anyways, bid it up all you want.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Secondary pool liquid. I don't know. I really don't know either. Okay, what else here? You want to look at? Let's go to the chat now. Let's look for some names that we don't normally talk about. What about okay, thank you, Darren. Corsair, CRSR, because they also reported earnings overnight here. I think their earnings were okay, right? The earnings, the backward-looking numbers were fine. The forward-looking numbers, they were also okay.
It was fine, and I actually played this one off the earnings reports. I had in my head if there's any growthy tech names on it, then of course there's necessarily growthy, but it's kind of fit in that description. If they sell off substantially and the quarters are okay, I was going to bid them. I actually bought this last night, almost at the low. I think I got it at 18.20.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and I sold it out an hour later in the
18.30.
No, I got into the 19 handle, but
good for you.
I looked at the chart. I was using the Joel Elconin levels, saying I think it bounces at 18.
18, yeah.
The quarter wasn't. It originally popped on it too, and then they turned around and they started to kill it. I'm like, this is going to be one of those. They pop it, they drop it, and they bring it back, and it actually worked out very well just for an overnight trade. I mean, there's sometimes having an opinion can make you money. I mean, I like to trade unopinionated, but in this case, I was like, this has just been what's been happening with these stocks. They overshoot in both directions. And that was an overshoot last night. I almost got MNDT too, just to talk about that one with it. I know a lot of people have been wanting to talk about it too. Bloomberg report yesterday before the quarter started that they might be an acquisition target.
Yes.
And then they sell the stock off on the earnings report, which wasn't even that bad.
Dumb.
Yeah, I know, and I missed it. I was sitting at 16. Go to the MNDT. I'm ticked on this one. Yeah, and I was sitting around 16.05. I thought they'd take her just flip it under 16, when they started selling off, and it went down 16.11.
14,
and I'm like, and then I was like, okay, and then I tried to go up a little bit at 16, and then I missed it, and then it just blasted back off to 17. I was like, and then I went 18, so I missed that too. But the right call on both those stocks to be buying the dip. It's an easier play when a stock, all of a sudden has an M&A rumor, and then they sell it off in the earnings report a half an hour later. That hey, the M&A rumor didn't go away. So, especially from Bloomberg, which solid source, obviously. So, it would have been a good buy. I just missed it.
A couple things I want to point out here. It went into the halt. So, there was an intraday gap, right? And it gap from 1643 to 1803. So, this right here, this was the halt intraday. So, just think anybody that was caught short or shorted it up here, that was pretty much a gift. Filled the gap. The other thing I saw something interesting in CRSR, and whoever's looking at this, I got a level, and it's not just a daily level, it's a monthly level. You are working on a green candle right now, and those are kind of few and far between in the stock. So if this stock could, it closed last month at 1954. Here you are, you're still trading above it. I mean, that could turn it. I would lean on that area down to the low of the move, 1768. See how it trades today. But it's working on a green month for the first time in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months in a row. So that's a positive thing I have to say about Corsair.
Here's one: CCJ uranium play.
What's going on with their uranium?
That's Canadian too, I believe.
Canadian uranium.
I can't say.
I believe it is.
Okay. Oh yes, you're right. It says Saskatchewan accounts for half their output.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Canadian play.
Hey.
I have no idea on this stock. I don't follow closely. It's Canadian. I should follow more closer, but I don't.
I see it's getting a pop up $1.34. It holds 21 here. I know you're traded 21.18. It holds 21. Then there's room on the upside.
They had earnings this morning, and they raised their dividend by 50%. Wow, they raised
that's nice.
From 8 cents a share to 12 cents a share. Nice divvy raise.
Got to hold 21. I'll give you a 4-star resistance moving forward at 22.50.
A couple of solar names got dropped in the chat. Jinko and First Solar both got dropped in there. We can do
all up big because of Enphase. Every single solar stock is up 5% on a minimum, it seems like, because Enphase is now up 25%. So ENPH, the driver from all. SEDG is its brother-in-law. It's up 10%. I pair trade those two together, work the best together. And then you got them all up. First Solar is up. You can even go to the China ones. Sunrun's up. I mean, just go to whatever solar stock wants 7%. CSIQ may be a laggard. It's only up 4% here right now. The entire group, SunPower, which I own, up 7%. Big moves for solar stocks.
Look at that. Obviously the ETF is making a move, but if it comes back down to 65 area, I know that's not even filling the gap, but over 65, or if you can get it back at 65 in the next couple of days, looks like it's old resistance, new support.
Pablo asked about GM. I've been watching Ford. I did not realize that GM had come down as far as it did, though.
They killed it.
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley. We didn't even talk about it. Morgan. It got Morgan Stanley.
Yeah. I didn't realize.
Did someone downgrade it again today? I
didn't realize it's below 50, though.
No, I don't think so. It's bouncing back.
Yeah. Yesterday.
They got a downgrade. It's not from a super influential firm, but Nomura Internet downgraded GM today.
I feel like Morgan Stanley sold the bottom, but I'm long GM. I sold half of it.
All right.
Into the report. We know I sold half because I was kind of nervous, and Ford as well. I've still got half size position in Ford and GM now. So, but I'm still, I'm eventually going to add to both of those.
Ford gave you a look at 17. I did not have it up on the front screen. It kind of felt heavy, and then you had that monthly low right there at 1707. They actually took it to 1702 yesterday. So above 18 right now, short-term target 1859, then you work into the gap. I'd still like to see it, not go right back into the 18 handle, maybe get a little bit tired, give you a chance here at like 1750, 1760, and then lead on that $17 low.
Martin, I don't know if this is what Martin is referring to. I think he's referring to CCJ, though. He said that's what the hockey pucks are made from, Dennis. I thought they're made from rubber.
I should know
or maybe that's what they do. I don't know.
I don't know either.
You should have known that. Come on. Okay,
I don't know.
Let's do Twilio, because we have a few people asking about Twilio. They report earnings tonight. Super beaten down name. But still, I think still a really good company, frankly. But growth stock.
Let's see where the growth. Let's see what happens at 355. Are we still bull on growth, or So that's going to matter because things change daily around here. Growth is in favor for last couple days here. Is it still in favor by 355 tonight? That's to be determined. I hope it is, because I'm in some of these growthy names. I'm not in Twilio, but that's going to matter. But I mean, you have a bad report. We never talked about New Relic either, NEWR, which is one of the disasters of the day. I mean, there is this fear of like holding into reports right now because, man, when you're on the wrong side, they absolutely hammer them. I don't want to hold any swing trade into a report right now. I'll tell you that much. I don't want to hold any day trade in a report. Some of these long-term investments, I'm even nervous on some of those holding into reports just because we see one of these stocks every day. New Relic is your disaster stock of the day. It's down 23% here on its report, and they don't bounce back. It's like when they hammer them like this, like it's one thing they fall off 3, 4, 5%, but when they start falling off 15, 20%, it seems like that they just keep hammering them. So from PayPal to Facebook to now New Relic here. I mean, they've absolutely hammered this. This hasn't even got a sniff of a bounce, really, Joel. Maybe a bet. I guess it got under 80 this morning, but it's just been hammered.
80 looks important. It was a triple top on the monthly. It came back down there. So it looks like on a rebound, but holds 80. I mean, if you're absolutely, what was this low too? This low was 79.99. So keep an eye on 80 if you feel like you have to strike. today or over the next couple
You have
days.
three big disasters of the day: Quinn Street, QNST, the Container Store, TCS, and New Relic, and EWR.
How is the Container Store still in business?
People need
containers. I trashed this stock a decade ago, and it's still around, so it's still sticking around here.
It's still sticking around. People.
What is the long-term chart of this? Go really long-term for me.
We got it. We got it.
All right, we got
$10 was good support. Hey, I got a hop, guys. Spencer, let me know. Let me know if you're going to join me to ask those questions. Okay, Wednesdays with Wedbush.
Joel's leaving for a minute. We're going to go see Joel too, but I want to see the long-term chart of TCS.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. I got it.
Go as long back as you possibly can.
Pro, TCS. Oops, I can't type. TCS.
I can go get it too.
Go to a monthly. Oh my goodness.
Well, what happened? Okay, so $40. It didn't IPO in 2014.
Yeah,
it's been out longer than that. Did it have a reorg or something?
It left and it came back, Dennis.
Yeah, it's TCS. It probably left and came back.
Never buy stock when it comes back.
No, never. They don't turn around. I don't get it, man. I've never got this story at all. I've hated this stock since birth. When I went in there with my wife once in the stores, I was like, this is literally the size of a Macy's and it sells only containers. I was like, how is this ever going to stay in business?
I saw one for the first time, I don't know, a few years ago. I was like, hey, I've never seen one before in the wild.
It's kind of neat. Like, you almost have to go in there once just to say, I never knew this many containers could exist, but it's a storage store. But my wife actually likes it, but I don't get it whatsoever.
Dennis, it's a stay-at-home.
I'm glad I didn't invest in it.
It's a stay-at-home play. People need to get more storage for their home.
Well, we don't stay at home anymore. We're on reopening, so maybe that's why it's down 29%. But I'm not buying it. Sorry, not buying it down 29%.
All right.
Hated it.
If you want to see more about this platform on the screen, it's called Benzinga Pro. It's a real-time news and research terminal. The link to get 25% off is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description. I highly, highly, highly recommend checking that out. We got scanners, we got movers, we got squawk, we got charts, we got fundamental research, we got news, we got signals, options alerts, the whole thing. Watch list, everything you can want. Check it out. pro.benzinga.com. Link pinned to the top of the chat and in the description. Dennis, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Everyone, I got to hop as well. Live trading with Benzinga coming up next on youtube.com/Benzinga. This video will end. Redirect to those guys over there. Everyone, good luck at the open. Hit that like button for me. How many likes are we at? We're at 339. Let's get to 400 likes. That should not be very hard. 400 likes. Thanks to Ivan. Please remember, all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. And as I've been saying every day for the past couple of days, if you see a fake Benzinga in the wild, please email us. Scamreports@benzinga.com. If you think of it like the airport, okay? If you see something, say something. All right, I got to hop. Live trading with Benzinga going live right now. Catch you guys later. Good luck at the open. Stay green.